Hey, welcome into a short and abbreviated version of the Fat Guy Podcast. I'm the Fat Guy. Most people just call me Brett. Thanks for listening today. If you haven't subscribed, wherever you get your podcast, you can find us. And I just realized because I posted a link to part one of this Apple Watch experiment in the Apple Watch group I've started. And if you'd like to learn that, or if you'd like to join that group, which I think could be interesting if Apple Watch weight loss users got together and shared their tips, tricks, and results. Might be interesting. The group is called Apple Watch Weight Loss Experiment, I think. It's an open group. You can join. Just answer one question and you can get right in. And I'd love to have you in there. And it's just another way that groups can get together and share information to help each other lose weight. Nevertheless, what was I talking about? Oh, yeah. So I posted a link in there, and when I went to click it to make sure it worked, it actually opened the episode in the Spreaker app. And I don't mention that much, but the Spreaker app is another cool way to listen to my podcast and tens of thousands of other ones, Spreaker. So if you don't have that, you might download it. Once you get in there, you can search for Fat Guy Podcast. The really cool thing about that is it's centrally located. You can favorite, so you can just jump right to it. Easily scroll up and down and see past episodes and stuff like that. But whatever podcast app you will pretty much work because we're on every platform. Everything from iHeartRadio to Spotify to iTunes, Apple to Google Play Store to I don't know. We're on so many platforms now I can't even keep track. You can find us. YouTube as well. All these episodes go straight to YouTube. So if you're a person that likes to open up YouTube and let that play, you can find the episodes there. There's so many ways. All right. Follow us on social media. Fat Guy Podcast. Share. Just one share could change somebody's life. Do that. Here we go. So my first weigh-in was last Friday. So as of my weigh-in today, this would technically, I guess, be this morning right before I weighed would have made officially 7 full days, right? Because that's when you start over, is when you reach that point. But I'm going to include today's weight because it's right at the cusp. So it's technically, I guess, 8 weigh-ins, 7 days. It's been interesting, the Apple Watch experiment, okay? So when I weighed in last Friday, that day, I weighed that morning, and then that day, I started reducing whatever Apple Watch said the day before's calories were, that I burned. So let's say last Friday, I looked back at Thursday, the day before's calories burned in the Apple Watch. I deducted 1,000 from them, and that's what I ate that Friday. Then when Saturday came, I looked back at what I burned on Friday, deducted 1,000 calories from it, and that's what I ate. So I found something interesting. I was burning about the same amount of calories every day most days within, 50 or 100 or less. Really 50 one way or the other. I had one day where it was about 200 calories higher. Or about 250. So that was the one outlier. But other than that, they were all within pretty much. So I would take my FitnessPal every day. I'd open up my FitnessPal and I'd go to goals and I would change that day's goals to whatever yesterday's calories minus 1,000 was. So let's say I burned 3,400 calories yesterday. Today, I'd open up my FitnessPal. I'd put in 2,400 calories as my goal and I would get up to it and hit it within 100. And I'd say some days I hit it within 4 calories. Some days within 50. Always within less than 100. I made sure to be very close. I didn't really have to change that except for that one day. That one day, for some reason, I burned like 250 calories extra the day before. I never could figure out why. I don't know what it's based on. I don't understand the algorithm of the Apple Watch. Nevertheless, keeping in line with the rules, that's what I did. And all that was all well and good until today when I looked back. I'm going to talk about the weigh-in in a second and the weight, what has happened with the weight in just a second. But I want to get this technical aspect stuff out of the way. Today, when I looked back at yesterday's calories burned, they were way higher. Like over 500, well, about 500 calories higher. No, more than that, almost 6. It was about 597 calories higher. So we're just going to round it up and say it was 600 calories more. Now, I didn't do anything extra. As a matter of fact, I walked less than I normally walk. I've been trying to walk 30 minutes. That depends on how severe the foot pain and stuff is, but usually I get 25 or 30. Yesterday, I think I only did 17. I didn't do any resistance training yesterday. My steps were lower than average. I have no idea why it says I burned an extra 600 calories yesterday, but I can tell you this. I'm breaking my hard and fast rules for the Apple Watch. I'm going to continue the experiment, but I'm breaking my hard and fast rules today. I am not eating an extra 600 calories today. That would be an insane amount of calories for me. I'm just not doing it. There's just no way. As a matter of fact, I've been eating so many calories, man. Some days it feels like it's hard to get them in, and I've actually had to adjust the way I eat. I've actually started eating an extra couple of tablespoons of butter a day. I'll put an extra tablespoon with my first meal and an extra tablespoon with my second meal just to make sure I get those calories in because it's high. So it may come as no... so what am I going to do from here on out? I'll tell you about that after I do the weigh-in because that's all anybody cares about. It's what's been happening with the weight. So I got to tell you, the first 4 days on this, first 4 or 5 days, I think it was 4, it was bad. I gained weight every day. I gained up to a high of 4.8 pounds. I gained 4.8 pounds in the first 4 or 5 days. I don't remember which. It was about like a pound a day, a little more. Now, for somebody who struggles as much as I do to lose weight and battles with it constantly, giving up 5 pounds of weight loss for some stupid experiment does not make a lot of sense. Like, it's the only thing that's greater than me and than my desire and drive to lose weight and get healthy is my crazy obsession with research and experiments and trying to figure out what's best. That's one reason I've learned as much as I've learned about the body and health and metabolic syndrome and insulin resistance and what the root cause of obesity is and all these things is because of my endless desire to read, study, research, and basically do experiments on myself. So it was tough to take. And I have one person that I talk about this stuff with every day. She's the best for putting up with my crap. But every day I was like, oh my God, I can't believe it. But I'm going to go through. I'm going to power forward. I will say, though, at around that 4th or 5th day, I think it stayed steady the next day. So I had 2 days in a row that were the same, which was good. I was so excited that day. And then the next day it was down a little bit. Then the next day it was down a little bit. And then the next day or whatever till we get to today, I was down more today. And I've cut the weight gain in half. So I had gained, it was like, 2/10 away from a 5 pound gain. I'm just going to round it off to 5 pounds. Now I'm only 2.5 pounds up. So in my first 7 days, I gained 2.5 pounds. So what am I going to do going forward? Well, I've come up with a new plan. And my new plan is this. I'm going to take the last 7 days that I did on Apple Watch. I'm going to add them together and divide by 7 to get an average. So I'm going to get an average weight calories burned per day, and then I'm going to eat that amount the next 7 days. And that'll, 7 or 7.5 days I got left, which will bring me to the end of the 15-day experiment. That way, every day I'm not having to change it. Okay? So I have my average. I did that today. That's the calories I'm going to eat today. I've already had my first meal of the day. I still have another meal, maybe 2, or maybe a meal and a snack, something like that left. And then for the remainder of the 7 days that are left, that's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to stick with that same number. And if those 2.5 pounds come off, which I've got roadblocks in the way. One roadblock, really. Possibly 2. Thanksgiving. I have a plan for Thanksgiving. I think I'm going to be fine for Thanksgiving. I think everything's going to work out all right for Thanksgiving. But I just have to be honest with you. I don't know. Yeah, I got a plan. It's all going to be fine. The second chink in the road, just came up, chink in the road. I think it's chink in the armor, right? That just came up because people that I love hanging out with and love dearly are going to go to Biloxi the day after Thanksgiving. And I would love to go join them. But boy, does that present a whole host of pitfalls for me. Buffets are really hard. Eating the buffet in Biloxi at any of those casinos is very hard because you can find, at most of them, you can find maybe one meat that isn't battered and fried and horrible. Sometimes two. It depends on how extensive their carvery is. The one that they're going to doesn't often have a carvery, and if it does, it's just one meat. So it is doable to go over there, but then I have to avoid the dessert table. I have to avoid all the sides. There's usually never, if there is a side that you can eat over there, it's maybe one. And so it's such pitfalls. So the good news is the place that they're staying, which treats me really well for some reason, I called and they didn't have a room. I even talked to my host over there, and the casino was like, man, there's nothing I can do. He said, if somebody cancels or something, I'll call you. So I could stay at another casino, but the other casino that I'm able to stay at cheaper for free is the one that has even more. They like that buffet better. Not to me, because I don't care about crab legs, and that's why they go there. My favorite buffet is at this casino that I would be staying at, which would make it even harder for me. I'm probably not going to go. I have a casino trip planned for Christmas, and so probably not going to go. So hopefully that won't be a pitfall, but I got to get through Thanksgiving. Nevertheless, I've rambled a little bit. To recap my experience with the Apple Watch, I've been eating more calories than I've eaten forever. I'm going to be honest with you. I was probably eating 500 to 700 calories more a day than I normally eat on my keto weight loss routine. It was a lot more calories. That's a lot more calories. And I have gained weight. But I'm committed to giving my body time to adjust, because you can do that. You can eat at too much of a deficit and your metabolism will slow a little bit. And so when you go back to the right amount of deficit, you're going to gain some weight because your metabolism has dropped. So it is possible that weight loss will resume. I'm going to give it the 15 days. We'll see how it goes. Hope you've enjoyed part 2 of the Apple Watch experiment. I will update you at the end. It'll be after Thanksgiving. I'll have all the stats and figures. I'll try to do an update the Friday or Saturday after Thanksgiving. Thanks so much, guys. If I don't do a lot of you are listening to this 10 years in the future and it isn't anywhere near Thanksgiving. I'm recording this a week before Thanksgiving 2019. I don't know when you're listening to it, but if it just happens to be around Thanksgiving for you, happy Thanksgiving.